What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Flamebrooks138 here, playing more Pyre, and I believe we got done all of our conversation stuff. So let's go ahead and continue our journey to the Moonlight Alcove, where we're just going to wait it out for a little while, I believe, if the cycle continues as per usual. Doing good. I had a thought once I was done. Last session, you once again find yourself amid the quiet nooks of Moonlight Alcove. Here you can await the time until the stars deign to shine for you again. Let's bide our time, unless someone has something to say. No? If we can get Sir Gilman up and Tizo up, I can have like a squad of Valkyries remaining, and I feel like that'd be a pretty rad way to finish it. Although Volfred's going to stick with us, so it can't be an all-girl squad completely. But in terms of the rites, we can have Valkyrie squad, and that's exciting. We have returned to a place of respite. Please make yourselves comfortable such as you can. We are at the mercy of the stars, but I expect they shall shine bright again in time. As for me, I shall return by then, for there is something I must do. Yeah, what's going on with you? Where are you headed? There, from atop the sacred mountain, you gaze down into the abyss that is the downside. You wonder when the stars shall again align themselves once more. There, oh, I should have waited for this to be the conclusion for last session. I forget it has this little epilogue. There, upon the sacred mountain, you and your companions once more await the night the stars begin to shine again. The plan of which you are all a part is set in motion. The Commonwealth, a nation that stood almost for 1,000 years, is in turmoil. If your companions return there through the liberation rites, what sort of place shall they be coming back to? Many moons pass. One evening, amid a downpour with no interest whatsoever in relenting, Volfred requests everyone to convene. You understand he has an announcement of some sort. Soon everyone is assembled, and Volfred guards the group. Chapter revealed rites of flame. Give me a second. We haven't even started the conversation, man. Everyone, there is an aspect of our plan which I've not talked about with you at length. You see, I've been importing this wine into the Commonwealth, and it has some special spinal fluid in it. Alright, we're at 44%. I believe that's where we left off last time. The epilogue time skip did not help us out at all there. Look around at your companions. What do you see in them? He lets the question hang a moment in the air. I'll tell you what I see in all of you, in all of us. I see in all of us a living vision of the 8 scribes themselves. Well, not the 2 who already left, but the rest of you. I mean them too, but they're not here now. But we have the 8 scribes, each one among them hailing from the different tribes which later formed our Commonwealth. My observation does not come from pompousness, I think. Rather, I believe the scribes themselves desired, or shall I say, desire, such a course. Together they created all this ceremony of which we're now a part. Wait, we don't have a snake. We don't have a snake lady. Is that the last person we're missing? The exiles liberated through their rites went on to found the Commonwealth based on their values and their teachings. Thus, an instrumental aspect of our plan is to embody the spirit and the culture from which the Commonwealth arose so many centuries ago. That way, when we are all united on the other side in solidarity, the people all shall see that we reflect the values they yet cherish in their hearts, not merely our own. Anyway, we are still missing one key representative on behalf of Molten Milithae. And I happen to know a certain bog dweller who I think shall fit the part most splendidly indeed. He motions for someone to approach. Oh, we don't have to go? You just brought them here? A certain bog dweller slithers forward. You recognize her straight away. It is my pleasure to introduce you to a dear old friend of mine whom I believe you've met. Welcome to the Nightwing's Bertrude. Once again, I have no idea what voice I used. The bog dweller called Big Bertrude utters something guttural by way of greeting. We are to understand that you require further aid from us. Yes, dear Bertrude, the time has come. Bertrude here is far and away the most accomplished alchemist whom I have ever met. You soon will find that she knows much about the rites as well. Bertrude looks you and your fellow exiles each in turn. We frighten ye, apparent. Everyone is silent as Bertrude searches their expressions. My bad. Non-binary, cool. First non-binary character, which is great. I don't know, in a game that's really good about, like, equality between men and women, I was hoping we'd get some non-binary representation as well, so that's pretty cool. Then treble, small ones, and hold well thy tongues, lest we remove them. Oh, off to a good start, this friendship we got brewing here. Wait, okay, now it's she... Oh, never mind. I don't know what. Maybe they're fluid. Who knows? Maybe I just misread what the pronoun was referring to a couple messages ago. Who cares? She takes her leave without another word. Please excuse Bertrude's blunt manner. I guarantee she shall more than make up for it. Everyone disperses. It seems now that the ranks of the Nightwings are complete. Except we have 2 people gone already, but alright. Bertrude joined the group. You sense her powerful presence. Welcome her aboard. Now then, my girl, perhaps you noticed that the stars are bright once more up there behind those stubborn rains, meaning it is time that we got back to business. Indeed, once more several stars shine bright within the cold and storming sky. The stars themselves await the will of the Nightwings. Choose your path towards salvation. You know what, in my headcanon, Bertrude just uses both pronouns. She's okay with both sets. Got Triesta, Jumur, and Goal. I kind of want to have a rematch with everybody, but let's see what the rankings are looking like. Because as I noted last time, I don't really want any of these people to win except for the Fate. They're the only like nice people. But it looks like, judging by the pace of liberation rites, it looks like we only need to worry about these top 3 or 4. Because I'm not going to be able to get these guys at the bottom all the way up. So basically, if I don't want, like if I want the dissidents who are currently second place to get a chance, then I should just fight everyone except the dissidents. And if I want to knock them down a peg, then I should do that. It'd be kind of interesting to make the Essence come up next, because I feel like we have more Pamitha interactions, although we'd get those interactions even if we face them in a normal match. Part of me wants to bring the Chastity to a liberation rite just so I can take that opportunity away from them at the last second. Regardless, I don't think the dissidents need to be having their chance at liberation rite. So we're going to fight the dissidents if we can. And let's take a look at our options. We can fight the accusers. I kind of want to rematch at least everyone once. We can fight the Tempers, or we can fight the Pyre Hearts, all of whom are in the bottom tier. So this actually isn't going to affect very much. Let's go ahead and get the Pyre Hearts. Get Gilman some more development. We'll see if we can raise him up to liberation status. Is this night to understand that we shall soon confront Sir Deluge and the Pyre Hearts once more? Then this is to be a most exciting time. This knight's one-time commanding officer. Imagine, if you will, a worm without the slightest trace of bravery. Sir Gilman then recants the tale of Sir Deluge's past, and how it is that they wound up together on the downside, even though we've already heard the story. Alright, we're getting into it anyways. Sir Deluge, a worm knight of the Sea Dominion and former ally of Sir Gilman, he lacks the sort of courage for which his kind is known, yet somehow leads the Pyre Hearts anyway. Some worms born under the Sea Dominion's waters sought life's meaning on dry land. The Commonwealth recognized their chivalrous traditions and soon put them to use. Sir Deluge was just another bit of frontline fodder in the war against the Highland remnants, yet time and again he distinguished himself for one simple reason: he would not die. Okay, I do appreciate that. His unusual instinct for self-preservation kept him safe in many battles, and over time he was repeatedly promoted for lack of any real competition. That's actually a really good excuse for why this guy's in charge. That's great. Then in the Battle of the Spiral Sanctum, when retreat certainly was not an option, Sir Deluge retreated anyway. This was a breaking point, and he at last was sentenced into exile. In the downside, he sought water, where he made contact with Sir Gilman and other members of his kind. They all saluted him as their superior. The other knights had little choice but to respect his rank. As the Pyre Hearts, they conduct the rites in the name of their great hero, the Under King Orez, who while adhering to their strict code. This knight might not have failed quite so miserably at the Battle of the Spiral Sanctum had his entire regiment not turned in disarray after Sir Deluge fled. Perhaps by confronting his former commander, this knight's own honor may be regained in part. For now, however, this knight must beg your leave. You say goodnight to Sir Gilman in turn. There is no time to make flight preparations now, though in the morning you will press on once again. Who we got? Fair enough. You might have something to say. You find Big Bertrude looking about the black wagon in a disapproving way. She fixes her gaze on you. Her expression does not change.
Such a clutter added to this wagon since we looked upon it last. Unsightly. We remember thee from our abode in Flagging Hands. Then thou must be the reading one to whom Sandalwood referred.
She moves in close, studying you. You recall that the mere touch of a bog crone of the southern bogs can induce paralysis, or worse.
That one such as thee can extract meaning from that tome. 'Twas a feat we wished to witness for ourselves. Thy flesh has seen but the smallest fraction of the years which ours withstood, and yet we are expected to believe that thou canst understand the Book of Rites.
Then she backs away, for someone else has joined you.
Hail, Bertrude, madam. Is everything to your liking at this time, or is there something more which you require? We have been unable to locate a supply of rotworm gizzard extract among thy belongings. Other than that, we shall lodge no complaint at present. It is possible that Wulfred has a small supply among his possessions here. If you would care to accompany me, we may yet procure some. That would be agreeable with us. Then after you, madam.
The two characters whose voices hurt my vocal cords the most. We gotta love it. As they depart, you think you see the lone minstrel nod his head your way. Thanks, buddy. Alright, we have one new page. I was keeping track. Is this the new chapter? I think this might be a new chapter. Written by Solium Mur. Alright. Rites of Flame, in the words of Solium Mur. With these blackened nails do I hereby inscribe the rites of flame. The bylaws shall be written here in full. We, the Eight, decree the rites a test of one's true worth in body, mind, and spirit. Now, until the stars abandon us, this shall be the binding law within the downside. Those deemed worthy in the rites are to regain their freedom from the downside and return from whence they came. Exiles shall conduct the rites as one of 9 triumvirates and look toward the stars for guidance on their path. Exiles shall bear this book as status. I just realized I've been giving all the demons Russian accents, so I should have done Russian for him, but it's too late now. It's determined that that's canon. That being said, we also found out from Jodariel that apparently demonic status can just be imbued upon you. It's not like a race or people, so I don't feel bad about the inconsistency there. Essential structure. The essential structure of a rite shall be as follows. Where chosen by the stars within the dark of night, shall 2 triumvirates stand in opposition, far enough afield beside their consecrated pyres, symbolizing their resolve. In each triumvirate, the 3 shall act as one to determine their trust in one another, not just in themselves. Triumvirates shall endeavor to extinguish the pyre of their adversary, whose flames are only to be staunched through a celestial orb descended from the stars. Whosoever pyre remains burning shall prevail. The triumvirates are to disperse. Oh, is this just the whole chapter? Alright, buddy. Let's get it all over with. Searching the stars. We, the 8, have seen the turning of the stars from now until the ending of our age. Heed their guidance in ours. The stars may take many cyclic turns. The rites commence at their behest upon celestial landmarks where the downside's greater titans fell before the heavens. Bearing this book bestowed on your triumvirate, you, the reader, shall perceive under which stars you are to congregate. Follow where they lead as your adversaries shall. If either of you fails to appear, then neither of you walks the path. Whether you prevail or you fail, from that point the stars shall guide you on. Before each rite. Oh, we're just going through the whole thing. The rite shall not commence unless the necessary preparations are complete at a celestial landmark, ere the stars align. Are these like, is this preordained, or is he just making this up as he goes? Like, are all the other scribes looking at him, like, coming up with this cool rule set? Like, he's like playtesting it with his buddies? Exiles shall conduct the rites bearing this book, of which there are but 40 copies, each bound in astral hide. That's honestly more copies than I expected. Exiles shall wear the sacred raiments fashioned in our likeness at the summit of Mount Elodiel. Their identities are to be concealed, for they shall represent us all. Except you can just take your helmet off before the match and talk as however much you want. It's kind of up to you. Exiles shall set a metal sigil for their pyre and consecrate the grounds using the words, "The 8 scribes gave their freedom so that we may yet have ours. The heavens shall respond when all is set." Law of 3. During the rite, each triumvirate shall act as one, unerringly and without question. The disobedient shall suffer banishment or permanent expulsion. You'll also be banished if you succeed, so the rules I'm just kind of making up the rules as I go. Exiles shall move as of a single mind to demonstrate their faith and recognize that they, as we, the 8, cannot prevail alone. Their worth shall be determined both by their actions and their peers. Triumvirates lacking experience in this may designate a reader, whose focus on the book may help the others to coordinate. However, only those who shall conduct the rites firsthand shall walk the path toward enlightenment and become eligible to regain their freedom. The Burning Pyre. At the appointed time, at the aligning of the stars, the heavens shall rain down upon the ground sufficiently prepared, and thus the two opposing pyres shall be set ablaze. Thus shall commence the rite. Triumvirates are to protect their pyres as they would their lifeblood. Lifeblood itself is never to be shed before, during, or after any rite, lest the disobeyer suffer permanent expulsion. Exile is injury enough. The rite is an act of mercy. Fear not the purifying flame. Plunge into it headlong and without fear, for you shall be protected by the stars themselves, although you will be banished for the next round, because, we gotta balance the game somehow. Seek freedom in the flame. The aura. Man, alright. Exiles bearing the raiments in this book reveal their hidden inner aura in the color of their flame. The aura is the exile's solitary weapon in the rites. Should one's adversary cross one's aura, the adversary shall be banished. Banishment is fleeting nothingness. Seek the pyre's light and thus make your return. The exile's presence shapes the aura. Exiles gain greater auras while standing side by side with their triumvirates. For regain strength together, exiles may cast their aura through sheer force of focus on this book. I do appreciate that, all of the rule sets, the aura is bigger if you're standing side by side because we are stronger together. I appreciate that there's kind of an in-world reason for all the rules. The fact that it's being dumped all at once, and I personally just feel obligated to read it out loud, is probably a little tedious for all you viewers. I apologize, but I'm not going to stop now. I've committed to the bit. The celestial orb, as the two flames are lit, so shall the celestial orb fall from the heavens. Okay, again, who determines that? Is that you? Or what's making this happen? Are you, when you set the rules, are you observing that this is how it works? Or are you deciding that this is how it works? But one such orb shall be availed by the stars, requiring triumvirates to vie for it. Its cosmic connection to the flames, the raiments, and this book bestows the necessary qualities for its bearer to prevail. Effortlessly sails the orb between the three and a triumvirate. It seeks the grasp of whosoever acts among the three. Once grasped, the orb shall draw within it all the bearer's aura, fueled by the triumvirate's own flame. It is to be cast into the flame. The path. In each rite we gain enlightenment, whether we prevail or we fail. Indeed, through failure do we tend to learn the most valued lessons, provided we survive. None among us have prevailed without end. Exiles who walk the path toward enlightenment shall at times be struck by an epiphany and achieve mastery in some respect. Choose well amongst these blessings we bestow, thus you may yet achieve your potential and surpass your adversaries. Whenever you prevail, your triumvirate earns favor. In time, the triumvirate with the most favor shall be summoned to the liberation rite to earn a chance at freedom. Then the cycle shall begin anew. Liberation rite? Liberation. The liberation rite takes place upon the fall of Solium under a bloodied moon, witnessed by the heralds from the stars. Okay, so they were already calling it the fall of Solium while he was still alive and figuring all this out. I feel like this is a hot take, but things shouldn't be named after you while you're still alive. That's not a hard and fast rule. There's certainly exceptions. I'm sure there's many that you could make, and I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. But in terms of giant landmarks across the land, you shouldn't call it the fall of Solium while you're still alive writing books. Anyways, there the most favored triumvirate shall confront the one which we appoint. These two triumvirates shall first shall pass through Scribe's Gate, where their worth shall be assessed under the stars. Only the most enlightened exiles within each triumvirate may be appointed for a chance of freedom. Two of their companions shall support them whilst they strive. The anointed champion of the triumvirate which prevails then shall plunge into the shimmer pool and return in glory. And that's it. That is the Book of Rites. The rules of the rites of the books of the rites. Bertrude's decks, unusual etched cards depicting the greater titans, probably for curses and enchantments. You got anything to say? You call upon me for some purpose, my reader. What's on your mind? What's going on with you? I thought I told you to be gone. Yeah, but the text was orange, so it made me think there was something new. She's pushing you away as she did before. Perhaps I ought to cease my services to you, if you insist on disrespecting my wishes thus. Would that sound good to you, O reader? Imagine not having access to the loathsome trinkets which I grant to you. Imagine those idiots of yours having to get by without my tutelage. I can imagine it just fine myself. I was once a weapon used to kill an emperor. Attempt to kill him, anyway. Now I am once again a tool being exploited, soon to be discarded. Go on, then. Leave me be. Go about your business, and let us pretend we do not know full well how this shall end between us. Okay. You know where to find me. But you don't want me to find you, you've said. I guess I just won't check in with her until someone else gets called to the forefront. Although, I think it's only Bertrude left, right? We've gotten almost everyone else. I think we might have gotten everyone else. Anyways, let's continue onwards. You rise early that morning, though Bertrude is already awake. She scowls at you. Good morning, reader. Bertrude, I trust your stay has not been too uncomfortable.
Nay, Sandalwood, the comforts of this place are not for us. Fly us forth from here to lower ground. Let us get on with all of this.
The reader here shall do so once the group is ready. I thank you for your patience. Rolling around at the speed of sound. What's over here? Soaring far above Slorian shore, you notice Pamitha gazing down at the frozen cliffs below.
That damned place down there. I like it least of all, I think, among everywhere we've been. I'm thankful that there's been no reason to return. Reminds me of my home is all. The Highwing remnants. We all grew accustomed to the thinner air amid the cliffs that reaches the clouds above your commonwealth. But it was not the nicest place. Little wonder that my sisters settled for a rather warmer base of operations in this land there by the nest of Triesta. Anyway, I'm pleased to have to spend as little time as possible near here. Let's fly on by and go about our business.
Got places to go, gotta follow my way. Oh, I didn't even see you there. You can hear the angry hissing coming from Udenwildhe all the way from your position.
Ye think mayhaps the skies belong to you. Foolish. The skies and everything above them and below belong to the astral-born. Ye shall be smitten from his skies and on his awakening. Now be gone.
Man, we're just collecting all of the wagons to bump into. We really got to find everyone. What's over here? No, we can't run into you. We can run into you. I've run into you, though, before already. That is cool how it's kind of like you can see them getting set up. You can see who's going to fight against who if you really care about that. That's a neat detail. Who are you?
Ah, pleasure to encounter you within the skies themselves, O Nightwings. They deliberately crashed into us, Father, yet you still address them in such a cordial manner. Now, Elmer, I am certain that this was an honest accident, and it appears no lasting damage has been done. Please, take the helm, as I shall go and start to pick up all the fallen artifacts which shook free from the walls after the impact. Perhaps some of these old heirlooms may yet be repaired with adhesives drawn from certain flora we may find along our long and difficult quest. Damn you, Nightwings. You stay away from us. Kind of feel bad that we confirmed we broke things. And again, that's like the one team that's nice that I care about. But hey, we got an achievement for it, so it's all worth it. What have we here? Yonder lies the Ridge of Gol, somewhat less imposing when viewed from this vantage point. Do you not agree, reader? The myths of the downside hold that it is no mere ridge of stone, but the remains of Lord Gandroth, once slain by Golathanian himself. Though perhaps such tales are of little import now, when you stand to confront the Pyre hearts there in just a short while.
I don't know, I kind of appreciate the trivia. Alright, Blooming Pool or Hollow Root? Let's go to Blooming Pool, that sounds more fun. Yes, please do. Downside Prairie. You make a successful landing in Downside Prairie near the southern edge of the downside. Memories of having first met Headwind, Jodariel, and Rookie come flooding back. You now should have some time in the vicinity before continuing onward toward the Ridge of Gol by land. Get to you in a second. Downside Prairie, in the words of Molten Milithe.
The downside is connected to our realm via a single artery, the river named for our prestigious sap colleague, Florian. That river gushes into seeming nothingness. That seeming nothingness turns out, of course, to be the downside. Its existence undermines thousands of years of thought about the composition of our world. The downside's southern edge we call the Sandfolds. It is a desecrated wasteland, speaking well to this land's lack of hospitality. Here the strength of many who survive the river journey finally fails. If only they could clamber further north, where lies the verdant downside prairie. A better place to perish, to be sure. Wait, this whole page is about the Sandfolds, and then there's just one sentence about the downside prairie. Okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, hey, we're picking up stuff from the prairie. That's cool. Getting a little bit crowded in here, all this stuff, but still. Yeah. What you got? Wolfred is poring over a copy of the book. A separate copy? You got your own of the Book of Rites as you approach. He looks up at you and smiles. The Road to Freedom, written in a book that hardly anyone believes exists, and fewer still can read and comprehend. Sometimes I marvel how absurd all of this is, my girl. Tell me something, though. I've spent so much time considering the book, but known so few with whom I could discuss it in such detail. You've had some time to turn through it by now, so what do you think? Worth all the fuss? Well, it kind of over-explained the rules in the last chapter I just read, but Book of Rites meant to be experienced, can't be described. You only skimmed it. You would rather reserve judgment until you have more reading time. Find it tedious. It's an archaic volume dense with lore. You are not concerned with that at this point. I have to imagine the writers of the game, found a way to track how many people select this option and then get sad whenever they see how big the number is. Even if it's 5%, it's well, that's 1 in 20 players who just didn't care at all. You find it fascinating. You've come across more than your fair share of books, but none quite like this. I know I gave that last chapter some crap, but I think it's fair to say there's some really cool lore happening. I do really like it. Tell Wolfred the book has fascinated you and that you've never seen anything quite like it. He nods slowly as you describe your experience with it. I share the sentiment. To have in our possession a genuine artifact from a forgotten time, how much of it is exactly true, and how much of it is the scribe's retelling of events, I find it endlessly fascinating to consider, I must admit. He puts away his copy of the book with care. It is amazing that these volumes have survived for all this time. I think whatever they are made of has withstood the ravaging effects of time quite well. And the ideas there contained, they remain rather provocative as well. To think that the Commonwealth disavows of the existence of this book despite official recognition of the 8 scribes. Although the reasons why are in there written plain, how fascinating that its secrets have been kept for all this time. Anyway, you'll have to excuse me for my extracurricular interests in its teachings. I used to teach a version of its history. To have access to the real thing has brought me some small pleasure. Let us be certain to preserve these volumes for whomever shall be next to use them. He turns his attention to other matters and bids you good afternoon. Alright, I know I didn't trust Wolfred at first, but he's growing on me. He can stay. He's okay. Anyways, let's search for valuables. With Faye! You and Facepin. I don't know why I'm so excited, but I like these characters. These are really good characters. I like this game. You and Faye spend much of the rest of the day searching through the rolling hills of Blooming Pool until at last you find something about you. So it would seem, at least, as neither you nor Faye can tell exactly what it is, for the object lies beyond your grasp. You consider methods to retrieve it. Work with Faye to retrieve the item you found. Go for it! Make time to retrieve the item. In doing so, you would give up time you could spend on vocations, such as studying or mentoring. You suspect the remaining time this day may be better spent pursuing your vocations. Since I've maxed out the team gimmicks, and I don't know who's going to get liberated, so I don't want to spend too much time mentoring and using up extra skill sets. I'm not too invested in the mentoring aspect because I might be liberating them anyways. Although maybe it adds the percentage if they're more leveled up when I liberate them. That'd be interesting. Anyways, either way, I'm still going to go for it. After toiling away together for some time, at last you find the object that you sought within your grasp. You and Faye take a moment to examine it. You found gutter crabs! It can just be sold. Assorted foul creatures. The gutter crabs of the downside are edible only in the strictest sense of the word. But it's worth 75 coins. Alright.